Again, I think you actually hear the. Let's just make. There we go. You might actually be able to hear my voice this time. So yes, good evening once again, one and all, to the next round of the Alfa Romeo Owners Club Giulietta Championship. We have again overcome some more issues with the server, but we've got it going, and we've got a packed race for you this evening. We are at the wonderful Goodwood circuit, one of my favourites, been there many times. Very I'll probably say this wrong, but hallowed ground. Very regal, very spectacular circuit, steeped in history, and it should be certainly entertaining with the big modern day, fairly small WETC cars, but yeah, should be some exciting racing anyway. So we have a triple header race. We will go through the championship standings very quickly because qualifying has started, and we'll catch the latter stages of that. So the overall standings, as you can see, have Matt Daly topping the table with 163 points. So if I bring this up so I can see it, there we are. There we go. So Matt Daly topping the table, 193 points. See, I told you I couldn't see it. But now I have it, 193 points. So quite a lead, actually. Matt is eking out over Colin in second. In third place in the championship is Andrew Whitehead on... That's Colin Knief on 158. Andrew Whitehead 6 points behind on 152. Fourth place is Alan Matthews on 110. Then Paul Plant on 107. Andrew Cracker in 6th with 77. Greg Young in 7th place with 59. Barry Clayton with 34 points in 8th. Anthony Gray in 9th with 25 points. And Luke Wiggins in 10th with 22. And the remaining challengers, we'll only focus on the top 10 for the moment. And in the AM standings, the highest placed AM in the being Barry Clayton in the overall, but for the AM specifically, Rob Whitney leads that with 134 points. Paul Millman is second with 115. Gus Warwick in third with 102. Luke Wiggins with 99 points. Fifth place Steve Knight in 91. Those are all the runners and riders for the AMs, as Cole Alden, Mark Gornall, Finley Swarbrick are dropped out of the AM championship. So as you can see, that's why there's such a big gap between Steve and Carl, as Carl didn't run quite so many laps. There we are. So for tonight's Goodwood event, I'm joined by Reeve again this evening. How are you today?
Good evening. I'm very well, thank you. Looking forward to this weekend after the chaos of last weekend. Last time around,
slightly chaotic, but extremely entertaining. And yeah, this one should be good. Should be very good as well. So let's just join the guys for the remaining of the qualifying session. So halfway through the qualifying, 15 minutes remaining. Paul Plant, interestingly, actually, just returning to the track after a little bit of an off there with the fastest time. Colin Knief in second with just over 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, Paul Plant's had some great qualifying pace recently. Unfortunately, I don't think it's kind of translated into the races for him. But yeah, during qualifying, he's been electric usually.
I think he has got caught up in the occasional back marker. The starts, hopefully not quite so much of a chaotic start this time as there was at I think it was Cadwell, wasn't it, last time?
Yes.
I can't remember. Yeah, so hopefully it won't get caught up quite so much in any of the issues, but yeah, should be exciting. Who is currently running around? Is Paul Plant just in the pits, I think, making some change. Colin Knief losing time a little bit in the first and second sector, but good in the middle. This track is a little bit deceptive. It is very, very bumpy.
Yeah, you can just look down the horizon there. You can see,
which I think is fairly realistic. There is quite a bit of undulation in real life as well, so it's fairly close to the original.
Right, it'll be a good challenge for these front biased TCR cars then under braking, I imagine. It was be quite twitchy.
It should be. I wonder what the fastest qualifying time we're going to see. The fastest time overall. Let's go and compare that to some of the real life runners that have tried to get around this circuit in one piece. But yeah, so yeah, the bumps I think will probably play out quite a bit throughout the race. It can, I'm not sure it can probably catch out people as well. But of course, there's the distinguishing feature of the Goodwood wall that you can see Collins is going through now. Very narrow, very deceptive as he just comes into the pit. It's a very short pit lane. I'm amazed there's space for all of them actually. So kind of have to
looks
they're kind of phasing through each other to make space. But Matt Daly out on track at the moment.
There really isn't much width on the tarmac here, is there?
There isn't, no.
Obviously, it will feel like Malaysia compared to Cadwell, I can imagine. But even still, there's hardly much room to breathe.
There is not, but it's so that's going to make it very interesting, especially that very tight run into the wall. And yeah, the start's going to be interesting. Such a short run before you're into a curve and start jostling positions. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be an interesting one, definitely. Now, if you've seen any of the real life racing on TV that they've done in some of the classics and the Thunder Saloons and things like that, it's I think probably going to be similar to that. But it's it's going to be quite spectacular, I think.
Yeah, you can just see there the end towards the corner there, the amount of undulations in the tarmac there. You wouldn't see an F1 car doing that at speed.
You would not, no. Look, actually trying to find the track map still, which I'm missing, but because I can't remember it. Been there many times, still can't remember the name of the corners. Further down the field, most people still in the pits actually, I think, making just spec setup changes.
I have got myself a helpful diagram, just in case I do forget where we are on track, and I think that is just called the chicane.
The chicane. I mean, why name it anything else? Keep it nice and simple.
Exactly, it's an inventive name.
Very explanatory. But yes. There we go. You are right. I have found it, and it is pretty much called the chicane. And then Woodcut Corner preceding it, which is obviously quite a spectacular one to spectate from. As you can see, people going down the Levant Straight on a very quick run.
Yeah, the very, very ominous crowd looking at us from the Tessa Course. They're thinking we can't have the camera angles. They're all focused in on the lens, not watching the race. No, they're not actually. They're completely turned the other way. Yeah, they're not interested in the TCR cars. They're just purely interested in getting some airtime.
Tom Herbert there, just running down the grass. I think just keeping out the way of the competitors, which I think hopefully the backmarkers won't have to resort to that, but there's not many places they can go to actually get out the way. Harper there, just seeing him jump an incredible amount of places up the leaderboard. Up into fifth, yes, getting in a good time there. Power plant still holding out. The first few positions relatively unchanged with the majority of the qualifying session as Malin Matthews returns to the track. Rob Whitney as well, going for a bit of grass cutting. Yes.
Yeah.
So yes, that'd be interesting one because there's no. Whereas with most of the tracks there is an infield that's blocked off essentially, so you will eventually hit something. Here you won't. So I suspect that exactly, yes, I suspect if someone ends up in the grass, they might get lost. It's entirely feasible that they won't be able to find their way back to the circuit at the right place. I'm not sure what happens if they go all the way through and out the other side. Hopefully nothing bad will befall them, but yes.
Giulietta
exactly, yes. The new Italian-made Giulietta lawnmower. But 8 minutes remaining. Who is further down the order? Alan Matthews still needing to put a good time in. I think some of them have actually left practice a little bit later than probably will be ideal, and that will probably show in the overall sort of pacing as well. Andrew Whitehead, just seen him in the background putting in a good time as well. Bit of traffic, yeah.
Yeah, we've got a lot of traffic.
So that's going to suffer his next few laps, maybe suffer, unless he can use them to his advantage in the slipstream. Yes. Fairly quite a bit far down the order as well. And we seem to have quite a big grid tonight as well. 16 cars have made it for qualifying.
Yes.
Hopefully all of them will then transfer into the race as well. But yes, who do we have?
See, there they are again. There's the crowd.
Yes, there is. Everyone is out on track. Paul Plant obviously not comfortable that he's done enough to secure pole position. Colin Kenny still got traffic again as well. This could be a very heavy play in tonight's race from lapped cars as well, as we see Steve Knight's off in the middle.
Here's an interesting one. Obviously, so Colin Knief obviously usually carrying a lot of ballast. Do you reckon down these undulations will that be helping him, or would that be?
Probably not. Probably not, because it's going to make generally the ballast is going to hinder your entire race. Because whatever goes down, you've still got to go back up the other side, haven't you, to get to the start finish point. So possibly whatever advantage he has going down, he's going to lose going up, unless he can really carry the speed.
Yeah, I was just maybe in terms of stability, but then I guess his suspension setup will be changed accordingly to that ballast, won't it? So I suppose
I suspect so.
In terms of kind of,
I think that very much depends on
levelness of the suspension.
I think that very much depends on the skill that I've always struggled with setups in these in a set of course or on certain things. So I think that sort of comes down to the individual, how well they can actually get the setup done. So it's an interesting point. It should we'll see who. See if that does actually have an effect in reality during the race.
Yeah, I'm no good at the TCR setups either. I'm all right at the Tartus, because the Tartus is a very easy case of this needs no downforce, remove downforce. And there's your Tartus FA01 set up. But the TCRs are far more complex.
It's got a long straight, less downforce. It's not more cars, we need more heavy downforce. As we're talking, obviously, Colin Knief pipped Paul Plant to pole position.
Oh, I am so sorry. I didn't see the time.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, just by a shade, complete shade, just riding on board there. And he proved that he had the quicker line. Interesting line that they're picking through St Mary's Corner, running very wide in sort of the midsection, and then having to cut back across onto the racing line. So that could be interesting. He has actually called the quits on this lap, as he's passed by another car. It was Greg Young that was stuck in traffic, and it's sort of he's sort of suffering massively now, isn't he? As he's stuck behind Stephen Knight, I think. Can't get a good time.
Yeah.
Clayton.
I imagine some people are now starting to panic because you've only really got a chance for a couple more
They're
laps.
very, very mixed up this evening. Will Harper all the way up into 5th as he runs wide. Clayton and Daly, I think, were just rejoining the circuit as well. Where is Paul Plant? See, Paul Plant's going to struggle as well, caught behind traffic. One of them being Steve Knight, who is unfortunately one of the slower drivers of the series. But in qualifying he has track position where he is, unless the others can get around him. Clayton off the side of the circuit. Glaze was the one I was looking for. He makes contact with Steve Knight on the first corner, so couldn't quite get the manoeuvre done.
Not what he wants at this stage in quali.
No, does want clear air in front of him, I think, at this stage.
There's one way to get it.
Well, yes. Mr. Tom Herbert down in 13th, who, if I remember, was had quite a good pace, I think, at Cadwell. I think I remember seeing that that yellow and blue a bit further up the order than what we seem to be seeing tonight.
Yes, indeed.
Clayton currently in the pits, Winning Glaze in the pits, Andrew Whitehead still down in 10th. Still down in 10th, so I think to try and continue that championship battle he is in with Colin. He certainly wants to be further up the field for qualifying.
Yeah, he's gonna. I imagine he won't be very calm at the moment, down in 10th. Then again, I suppose, you never know what's going to happen on the first lap. If he's careful, he can capitalise.
Indeed,
on
it definitely happened at Cadwell, wasn't it?
Bit of chaos. Yeah.
Second race at the beginning of the beginning, wasn't it? I think, and the back markers, two of the back markers certainly benefited massively.
Yeah, I think it was Matt Daly after reverse grid, wasn't it? And he was sat at the very back row of the grid, and they just waited for the crashes to stop and then just drove past.
Hopefully that won't happen for this evening's race.
No, the stewards are probably still just about recovering.
I think so. I think they had to extend.
Last time round.
They had to extend the period where they look at the instance. But yeah. So coming to the end of the session, they will get 2 more laps in. Possibly even 3 if they can get across the line in time.
Improve?
No.
Still not improving.
Very slowly, but no massively personal best sectors to get that done. Matt Daly, though, all purples, puts in a 1:16.
It's very close. That's top 3.
It is indeed, and a slight gap. Anthony Gray, as you can see, just finishing off. Very quick time from him. It's very quick previous.
What was the time again? Sorry, I can't quite see the exact.
Oh, sorry.
Numbers.
So Matt Daly is 1:16.4, and then Anthony Gray is 0.5 of a second behind. So they're all within a second, actually, down to 7th, and then Greg Young is a little bit off, actually. Fair way off the pace. It's 1.3 seconds off the pace, but yeah, seems a little bit of eternity now. And then we have Will Inglis. Still can't pronounce that name properly, so I apologise. Down in 9th, Andrew Whitehead in 10th. Yeah, a few little scrappy lines creeping in from people. 10 seconds of qualifying remaining. Who's not going to make it for the cut-off? I think Greg Young will not make it, so that will end his qualifying session in 8th, unless someone pushes him down the order. Luke Wiggins is off. He's called it quits as well. So it's Anthony Gray. Andrew Whitehead, though, will follow on a time, but that's going to be it for him. Touches the grass in the middle of St Mary's and calls quits on that time as well. So he will finish roughly 10th. It will jump around until we get into the race server. Just finishing. Well, Matthew's down at 4th.
Top 3 within.
Oh yeah, sorry, top 3. Yeah, point less than a 100th of a second. Or within a 100th of a second, rather. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm now hoping for a very clean lap 1 now, and hopefully we could just get some amazing battles between you 3.
Wonderful. So we will get the servers all set to reset, and we'll join back with everyone in a moment. Welcome back to race one of tonight's race at Goodwood. As you can see, an incredibly packed grid for the moment. Matt Daly, Colin Knief and Paul Plant lining up on the front row, completely neck and neck for the moment. Matt Daly with the one that's going to be going to have the inside line for the first corner at, what is it, Midwick corner, or Midwick corner. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting one.
Everyone checking their headlights accordingly. Very well done.
Just safety first.
Of course.
It's like a little disco going on before the start of the race.
It is. They're all Morse code. We've probably got to blur it out. It's probably Morse code for something incredibly rude to each other.
I have a feeling they're going to be used quite a lot, the lights this evening.
Ah, yes. Get out of my way. Stop having a crash in front of me. There's not enough tarmac for this.
So, yes, 2.4 miles of Goodwood circuit in Chichester for these wonderful Giulietta TCR round. Yes, very quick drivers at the front of the row. Mid-pack very mixed up. Yeah, should be quite exciting, provided you'll get around the first corner unscathed. Can Matt Daly continue his dominating performance of the championship and eke out a further gap over Colin Knief in second? We shall see. 3 races planned for this evening. The first being 20 minutes plus a lap from the leader, the second being 20 minutes with a partial reverse grid, the third 10-minute sprint race with a full reverse grid. And yeah, let's get the first one out of the way and see what happens. 6 red lights appear on the gantry for the drivers. You can hear the engine notes rise, everyone gets ready, and the lights are out, and they all get away very evenly matched.
Very great, amazing launch from the first row of the grid there.
Indeed.
Exactly.
They're entirely compact. This is very terrifying. Matt Daly on the inside.
This
People
Paul
are
Plant
certainly spinning on the outside of the corner. We have Paul Millman off.
Who have we lost?
Can't see who's further back. Will Harper gets going.
Paul Millman and Luke Wiggins, was it? But either way, not too bad, really. I was expecting worse from how it looked, but Matt Daly's now getting the upper hand on those two.
Sort of getting ready. 5-car battle for the lead still going through St Mary's Corner. Matt Daly getting out in front and trying to get away. But incredibly, yes, they're still all really, really close. Battling for the moment. Gray in 5th. Gets struck by Ingles. Hits the back of his car, missing the braking point. Hopefully they can rejoin fairly soon. Everyone getting position from that incident. We have who's that? Swarbrick up into 6th, battling Clayton. Doing very well. Greg Young behind them. Andrew Whitehead up into 8th. Everyone getting through the chicane very cleanly. Very well done. Although one person having to run a bit wide. And is that Colin Knief? All the way down in 8th now, actually. Missed that fact. But I think there's a car going the wrong way as well. Will Harper, not sure what happened there. Down the main straight of Goodwood. I don't know whether that was an exit incident from the chicane or whether he made contact with someone. But yeah, it does get going. That was a bit of a strange one.
Yeah, it is.
At the front of the grid for lap technically lap 1, lap 2. First few minutes of the race, Matt Daly and Paul Plant with less than a second. So Paul Plant's managed to close the gap a bit on Matt Daly. Behind them, Stephen Knight off the circuit as well at St Mary's. Does get going again. Inglis is off at Levante. Does get going again as well. So Knief is now on a recovery drive, getting pushed out very wide at Woodcote. Down in 8th, there's a Young up into Andrew Whitehead up to 6th now, and Greg Young into 7th. Yeah, there's too much to keep your eye on throughout the grid.
Indeed, I was about to say I'm hoping for Paul Plant to really start gaining on Matt Daly there, but it looks like that will have lost him some time.
He'll have to reset that. Guys, Warbrick running right, wide and letting cars through. So Andrew Whitehead now up into 5th with Greg Young and Colin Knief.
Yeah, he's had a
very
start.
Good start. Picking off drivers one by one.
As will Colin Knief. Who's that there? Is that? Yeah, Luke.
Yes, Wiggins running wide coming into Ford Water. At the front of the grid, looking quickly. Gap opening up 2 seconds now between Matt Daly and Paul Plant. Starting to open up a little bit now. Where's the last place drivers? There's still a bit of a gap before Millman having issues at Levant Corner again. Does get going. Young Colin Knief. Colin trying an outside line at Woodcote, but struggling, can't get the job done and losing out. That was Swarbrick that struck the wall.
He's hit the chicane.
Swarbrick struck the wall and practically blocked track for the cars behind. So pinballing off the wall a little bit there, so it is solid. It does. The cars do bounce off it. But yes, so now down into 9th. Did Colin suffer any damage from that? Looks like he got away with that fairly easily, or fairly luckily. But yeah, didn't see what happened there. Running from the front of the grid down in 8th now. So yeah, we'll have to try and look at the replays a bit later on, figure out what happened there. That'd be quite an interesting one. But currently on lap 3, Matt Daly with again the gap's come down a bit. So it was at about 2 seconds, now it's about 1.3. Paul Plant's managed to reset himself and try and bring that gap down. They're starting to run away with the first few positions, and then Matthews down in 3rd. with Barry Clayton following him. Whitehead in 5th with Greg Young on his tail. Colin Knief and Tom Herbert actually battling for position as well now. So Colin's suffering massively for race 1 at Goodwood for the moment. Who's that? Wiggins, I think, the second of all victim of the wall. Is he going to make pits for repairs? He is indeed. Rob Whitney ran a little bit wide, getting a bit loose on the midsection of the track. Who's that? Was Anthony Gray battling him for position? Didn't see. Gray was a bit further up the field as well, so didn't quite see what happened to him. Might have been involved in first lap incidents. Just seen the gap come down even more between Paul Plant and Matt Daly.
Yeah, was that a slight lock-up from Matt Gray? Sorry, Matt Daly there.
It looked like it a little bit, didn't it?
Invented a driver.
More people in the grid. Yeah, it did look like on the outside of Woodcut struggled to get the car slowed down a little bit. Whether he's being unsettled with the chasing car behind him, not too sure, but the gap's definitely come down between Daly and Plant. So close to the edge of the circuit there, just trying to get as much speed through the corners as possible. It's a fine line between carrying the speed and finding yourself on the grass. So quick through these corners as well, they've really got it dialed.
Yeah, it's actually quite a wide sort of open track, really, isn't it? Given, well, the tarmac's narrow, but in terms of the kind of the formation of the corners, it's quite flowing.
Very, very good to watch. Get round, gap for third, race for third between Matthews and Clayton. Passing up Clayton, trying to chase down Colin Knief, I think gaining a position on Young. A bit further down the order. I know Young will be, Knief rather, will be trying to chase down the red and white car of Whitehead. If he can defend from Young, who's trying to get that position back. Young running a little bit wide, he does not. What's happened at the back of the field? Will Harper's got past Paul Millman for 14th. Still a lot happening throughout the field. So they're still bunched up a fair bit. There's still battles happening throughout the grid. Harper, I think, must have had an incident. He has rejoined the track. And the battle for the lead between Plant and Daly. So Plant really on the back of that yellow car now. I sort of sense he's going to try to mount an attack for first place. Really closing up to the rear bumper.
He's not trying anything too extreme so far, is he? He's
in the slipstream. Can he get the manoeuvre done? He's looking for an outside manoeuvre at Woodcut. He can get that done. He does not. But Daly's run wide, lost a lot of speed.
Pressure of Daly
and gets the manoeuvre incredibly cleanly done before the chicane.
Yes. Perfect timing for Paul Platt there. You know, having Matt Daly go off just before that tight chicane, it kind of reserved him to take the spot behind him.
That was a fantastic manoeuvre to get that to take advantage and then get it slowed down enough for the chicane, which will hurt the car if you end up hitting the bumps. Just see if Daly can actually keep on the tail of Paul Plant. Doesn't look like he can. Looks like whatever's. I suspect Daly's going to be running a bit more ballast than Plant will be, going from the events of last weekend, which is obviously having a quite dramatic effect. And
yes, but first place won't go uncontested though by the end of the race, though. Definitely not.
Battle for 5th between Knief and Whitehead, the old rivalry that's still feuding between the two.
Knief just kind of dipped the wheels over the curb a little bit there. That's setting back ever so slightly. They've swapped
They
positions
have
now.
indeed. Young still in the background, not giving up that fight at all. It's actually a 3-car fight. Andrew Whitehead managed to get it slowed down. There's a bit of an unconventional line through Woodcut. Deceptive what they're going to do. Oh no, but Young just striking the inside wall. And yeah, there's not a lot they can do. If you touch that wall, that's sending you to the other side, isn't it?
Yes. You must feel, I imagine the only way you could even try and prevent it slightly is to kind of go against instinct and sort of turn into the wall that you're about to hit in the first place.
Potentially. Looking further upfield, Whitehead and Knief side by side. There's a car rejoining the circuit. Is that going to cause issues? That does not. That looks like Millman that stayed well out of the way of that battle, but Knief has got the manoeuvre done, dips the wheel on the outside. He's made a mistake there, and Andrew Whitehead takes the position back before Levant corner.
Oh, let me frustrating Colin Knief there. He thought maybe he could, think about progressing up further, but no, he's still stuck in this sandwich between Andrew Whitehead and Greg Young.
He certainly is. Very exciting battle between the two. Just looking at the lead at the moment, Paul Plant not getting away from Matt Daly quite yet. And they will start, who is Will Harper next on the road. That may be in the way of them. Alan Matthews and Barry Clayton are still battling for third. And then battling for...
The Barry Clayton's at second ever weekend, isn't it? Yeah, great job from him. Was it second or third?
No, I think second. But showing great performance in his driving so far. Colin Knief on the tail of Whitehead. Closest battle, I think, so far. Yeah, just opening up a little bit. And you can see Young in the background still waiting to take advantage of any incidents. Colin Knief getting round. Gap for first opening up slightly as well. They will have back markers to contend with. Battles to try and keep an eye on. Looks like Knief is slightly too far away to make a move this time around. I was wrong. I thought to myself, it looks like he's too far away, unless Andrew Whitehead unfortunately runs wide, which he ended up doing.
Yes.
So yes.
Looks like Colin Knief came very close to the wall on the chicane that time around, though. Unfortunately, Andrew Whitehead running wide at Woodcut and handing that position to Knief, who is now up in 5th, and will be trying to chase down Clayton and Matthews. Andrew Whitehead looks to be safe from Greg Young trying to steal that position as well. There is a change for the lead as Paul Plant has been held up by traffic massively and runs wide at Levant corner as well. And Matt Daly picking his moment, getting through them both. I suspect that was Will Harper causing an issue for the drivers, which is not ideal to have the back marker get in the way, but we said it would be an issue with how small the circuit is. But yeah, that's a massive Paul Plant now, 4.5 seconds down the road. And yeah, you can see Will Harper now just completely slowing up and allowing Paul Plant through at start-finish straight. Alan Matthews and Barry Clayton, less than a second between the two. They'll have their the back marker to contend with soon enough. Was Colin Knief roughly 4 seconds down the road behind the two, and certainly gaining. Can he make it up to the drivers in the last 5 minutes of the race? Paul Plant, the gap getting even bigger now. I think that's potentially handed first place to Matt Daly, but we shall see. It all still could change in the last 5 minutes. If
that's the case, then that's going to be a great shame. Andrew Whitehead is off at what is that? That's St Mary's Corner.
Is that a bit of traffic issues, perhaps?
Again, it kind of looked like it as well. Kind of as Millman that's 2 laps down now. It was off at the same corner, but whether that's because there was contact, not too sure. But regardless, Andrew Whitehead now down in 7th after recovering after starting off in 10th position. Gap opening up between Matthews and Clayton. I think Clayton slightly, he knows that Colin Knief is really chasing them down. Couple of seconds off the time now, so really brought that gap down. What can he do by the end of this lap? Greg Young down in 6th, Andrew Whitehead down in 7th. Tom Herbert down in 8th. Everyone seems to be sort of in their own pocket of air. Rob Whitney and Anthony Gray battling very fiercely for 11th position. So,
yeah, we see that.
Sorry, carry on, Reece.
Also, we see that kind of odd line that you mentioned beforehand coming out again. You know, Rob Whitney not just going straight for the inside. They're kind of covering off Anthony Gray and sticking on that line.
They're far down the order, but they are fiercely battling for position. Just as we cut back to the battle for 3rd, Alan Matthews runs wide. Colin Knief tries to get a manoeuvre done on the inside of Clayton. He's trying to find the gap. Clayton's got past Matthews. 3-car battle for 3rd.
Nicely done in all that kind of fighting about. Barry Clayton came out on top there. He's really bagged himself a position. He thought he'd potentially be down in 5th, but he's found himself on the podium, so I'm sure he'll be very happy with that for now.
Really judged that correctly. But Colin Knief, I think the battle for what was the battle? Rob Whitney and Anthony Gray still battling side by side down the start-finish straight. So them having a very fierce battle down in 11th and 12th. Oh, struggling to get it slowed down. Colin Knief looked like he was going for an outside manoeuvre. That's a risky for the outside of the chicane.
A sensible choice from Colin Knief there to dip
He was really looking for it though, wasn't he? But yeah, had to concede that. 1 minute 20 remaining on the clock, so we've still got a good couple of laps remaining. Daly completely on his own now in 1st place, unchallenged now, clear air around him, so yeah, that potentially looks like it's done and dusted. Paul Plant's still there. The gap didn't get any didn't drop back any further. That's not going to help though at Levant Corner, running a bit wide. And this battle here for 3rd. Clayton now up into 3rd. Alan Matthews in 4th. And Colin Knief in 5th. Can't quite get round him yet. He had the pace to catch up to them and recover from 8th place. He's in the slipstream now of the AutoItalia car. There's a slight rub as he cuts across the rear bumper. Alan Matthews defending very hard. And will not let Colin Knief through without a fight.